our viewers, welcome to our program. We want to continue with the ongoing series about priesthood. My name is Lucy Kamau. I'm born again. I love Christ. Please take your Bible, your notebook, and be ready to learn. Today, the teacher of the word is here, and he is going to take us through that topic about priesthood, and he's going to tell us what you're going to tackle today. Karibu sana mwalimu.
Asante. Thank you, Lucy. I'm excited to bring this episode to this time, and I am sure you are already waiting and excited so that we may learn together. My name is James Kamau, and I love Christ. I'm Christ ambassador here on earth. Thank you, Lucy.
Karibu sana. Our viewers, as I have said, we have done part 1, 2, and 3. So you can watch the previous topics so that you may understand today's topic. And because we are ready, please let us continue to learn together. Karibu sana mwalimu, help us on how we are going to go about it.
Thank you very much. In our last episode, we looked at a component that is within the Levitical priesthood, which was actually tithing.
Yes.
And we were able to see that tithe was actually a salary or a wage for the Levites who were working in the tabernacle.
Yes.
So we want to continue so that we understand this priesthood. We call it the Levitical priesthood because it comes from the tribe of Levi, but at the same time, it can be referred to as the Aaronic priesthood. Why? Because Aaron was the high priest.
Okay.
Right? So when we call it the Aaronic priesthood, or when we are talking about the Aaronic priesthood or the Levitical priesthood, we are talking about one and the same thing.
Okay.
So sometimes we may use those two words interchangeably, and so please bear with us. It is what the Bible also refers to it as. At times Levitical, at times the Aaronic priesthood, and so we should not worry because it basically means one and the same thing.
Okay.
Now, today we want to look at the Aaronic garments. Okay, because there were specific garments that were tailored or that were made for this priesthood. And why are we doing this? So that wherever you go to worship, you go and check and see whether some of these things that we are talking about here are being practiced there. And then you'll be able to know under which priesthood those people are actually serving you.
Okay.
And
so you want to tell us that there were specific garments for that service?
Oh yes, there were prescribed garments that Aaron and his sons were supposed to adorn.
Okay.
Yeah, when they were going to do the services that they were doing in the tabernacle, they were expected to adorn some dressing, right? Specific one. And we're going to see it from the Bible. I request that we read from the Bible in Exodus chapter number 28.
Okay.
Exodus chapter number 28. Yes.
Our viewers, please go with me in Exodus chapter 28. This is very exciting. I'm eager to know the garments because I didn't know there were special garments for the priest. Let us read and hear what the Bible says.
From verse 1, we read from verse 1.
This is New King James Version. Now take Aaron, your brother, and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister to me as priest. Aaron and Aaron's sons, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. And you shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother, for glory and for beauty. So you shall speak to all who are gifted artisans, who I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garment to consecrate him, that he may minister to me as priest. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate.
A breastplate. I want us to go very slowly here because I want us to hear what the Bible is now calling the Aaronic the garments. The garments that were specifically to Aaron and his sons. And the first one?
The first one is the breastplate.
The breastplate.
An ephod.
An ephod.
A robe.
A robe.
a skillfully woven tunic,
Okay, a skillfully
Woven
woven tunic,
a turban,
a turban,
and a sash.
and a sash.
So they shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother and his sons, that they may minister to me as priests.
Now, I don't know whether you have carefully listened to that text, because now, number one, it's important. In my videos, I sometimes insist on us understanding who is speaking, to whom is speaking, and what is the subject of discussion.
Yes.
Now, in this case, it is Moses who has been sent by God to Aaron, right?
Yes.
And he's telling, God has already instructed Moses on the garments that were supposed to be made for Aaron and his sons as they were working as priests in the tabernacle.
Yes.
And I want us just to reread the garments once again.
In verse number 4, and these are the garments
And these are the garments
which they shall make:
which they shall make:
a breastplate,
a breastplate,
an ephod,
an ephod,
a robe,
a robe,
a skillfully woven tunic,
a skillfully woven tunic,
a turban,
and
a sash.
a sash. From my count, there are actually six.
6, yes, they are.
Okay? There are 6. And it's very important that we are able to understand them, because by those names we actually not understand what they are actually standing for. But then when we read on, we'll be able to understand what each of the garments was. Right?
Yes.
Now let's go to verse number 5.
Verse number 5, they shall take the gold, blue, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and the fine linen, and they shall make the ephod of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread.
They shall make the ephod of
gold, and fine woven linen, artistically worked. It shall have 2 shoulder straps.
It shall have 2 shoulder straps,
joined at its 2 edges.
Joined at its 2 edges.
And so it shall be joined together.
And so it shall be joined together.
And the intricately woven band of the ephod.
Intricately woven band of the ephod,
which is on it, shall be of the same workmanship, made of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and fine woven linen.
Now, we are still being described these garments, right? He has mentioned about the breastplate, and he has said that it had straps, right? And that this strap was what was hanging it on the shoulder of the priest.
Yes. Verse number 9. Then you shall take 2 oxyl stones and engrave onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel. 6 of their names on one stone.
6 of their names on one stone.
And 6 names on the other stone.
6 other names on the other stone. So these stones were supposed to be on the shoulders. And they were 2. 6, on each one of them, the first 6 tribes of Israel were engraved on it, and the next 6 tribes of Israel were engraved on the other that was on the shoulder.
Okay.
Right?
So they were representing the 12 tribes of Israel.
They were representing the 12 tribes of Israel.
Okay.
Yes.
Verse number 10.
Verse number 10.
Sorry, verse number... let me read it again. 6 of their names on one stone, and 6 names on the other stone, in order of their birth. With the work of the engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet. You shall engrave the 2 stones with the names of the sons of Israel.
We shall engrave the stones with the names of the children of Israel. What is to engrave? To engrave is to cut through a stone, right? When you write a name by cutting through the stone, what you are basically doing is you are engraving, right? Let's continue.
You shall set them in settings of gold, and you shall put the 2 stones on the shoulders of the ephod as memorial stones for sons of Israel.
You shall put it on the shoulders of the ephod,
as
right?
memorial stones.
As memorial stones of the sons of Israel.
So Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord on his two shoulders as a memorial. You shall also make settings of gold, and you shall make 2 chains of pure gold like braided cords, and fasten the braided chains to the settings. Verse number 15.
Verse number 15, very, very important. I want us to follow here because we are being described these garments, right?
Yes.
That Aaron and his sons were to adorn as priests as they went to serve as priests in the tabernacle.
Now you're on the breastplate.
Breastplate.
You shall make the breastplate of judgment, artistically woven according to the workmanship of the ephod. You shall make it of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and fine woven linen. You shall make it.
You shall make it.
It shall be double into a square. A span shall be its length, and a span shall be its width.
In other words, it was supposed to be square. Okay, we sometimes, okay, I do not know what that length that they are calling there is, but then obviously it talks about the square because it's a single length and another length. So basically,
so even the measurements were given.
Even the measurements of this. Remember, we are talking about the breastplate right now.
It shall be doubled into a square. A span shall be its length, and a span shall be its width. And you shall put settings of stone in it.
You shall put settings of stones. These are precious stones on the breastplate.
4 rows of stones.
4 rows of stones.
The first row shall be a sardius, a topaz, and an emerald. This shall be the first row.
The first row. We have given already the first row.
The second row shall be turquoise,
sapphire,
and diamond. The third row, jacinth, agate, and amethyst.
Okay, those are precious stones.
And the fourth row, beryl and oxyl, and the jasper. So, in other words, all the stones, because now remember that the breastplate was supposed to be put here at the front. Yes.
Right? And then it had rows. And we are told that each row, of course, had three stones.
Yes.
3 precious stones. And we are given the names of those precious stones. And they were in 4 rows.
Yes.
Right? You get?
Yeah.
And all of them now were actually supposed to be 12. Why 12? Because they were representing the tribes of Israel.
Yes.
Because they are 12. Remember the stones that we are told that were on the ephod, on the shoulders, were representing 6 of the tribes of Israel on one shoulder, and 6 of the other 6 tribes of Israel on the other shoulder. But then on the breastplate, again, they were adorned with stones that represented now each of the children of Israel as special stones.
I get that.
I believe we are getting.
Yes.
So a breastplate was simply, a square kind of a thing that had 4 rows, and each row had, of course, 3 stones, right?
Yes.
Representing the children of Israel. Let's move on.
Verse number 22.
22.
You shall make chains for the breastplate, and at the end, like braided cords of pure gold.
Yes.
And you shall make 2 rings of gold for the breastplate, and put the 2 rings on the 2 edges of the breastplate.
2 edges. We have the edges here. The edge, remember we said it's like a square thing.
Yes.
So it had 2 edges. The lower edges and of course the upper edges. The upper edge, we saw that it was actually hanged, isn't it?
Yes.
When we started looking at all the garments. Let's continue.
And the other 2 ends of the 2 braided chains you shall fasten to the 2 settings, and put them on the shoulder strap of the ephod in the front.
In the front.
You shall make 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate, on the edge of it, which is on the inner side of the ephod.
Which is the inner side of the ephod.
And the 2 other rings of gold you shall make, and put them on the 2 shoulder straps underneath the ephod towards its front.
Towards the front. Now, basically, because of time, I want us, because basically what we are being described here is the breastplate. Remember, we were already told about the ephod. the ephod, we have already been given the description, but he's later going to be telling us about how it was supposed to be. I want us to maybe jump to verse number 31 so that we understand these garments. Basically, what I want us to get out of this topic today is that there were specific garments, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to be able to see the six garments that we are told. Remember, we were told they were supposed to be 6-piece garment. There was supposed to be a 6-piece garment. There was the turban,
the ephod,
the robe,
the sash,
the breastplate, all that.
And the tunic,
and the woven tunic.
Yes.
All those, they were the garments that any priest from Aaron to his sons were supposed to adorn. Now, verse 31.
You shall make the robe of the ephod all of blue.
You shall make the robe of the ephod. Remember, the ephod and the robe are different.
Yes.
And we'll be putting here the description of that. We'll put Aaron here, some the design of Aaron with all those garments so that you'll be able to see. But basically, the one that we have looked at, we have looked at two of them. We have the ephod. Ephod ilikuwa ni kama kabuti ya juu, right? And then on top here there was the breastplate. But then inside, what was actually carrying the ephod, there is the robe that we are now being described here.
Yes.
Yes.
There shall be an opening for his head in the middle of it. It shall have a woven binding all around it.
It will have woven binding.
Like an opening of a coat of mail. So that it does not tear. And upon it, and upon its hem, you shall make pomegranates of blue, purple, scarlet, all around its hem, and bells of gold between them all round.
Just hold it there. Now, what are we being described here? It is the robe.
Yes.
Remember, it's not the ephod, because the ephod was supposed to be something shorter.
Yeah.
But now we are being described to the robe, and this robe, because it was longer, at the edges there on the hem, there are supposed to be pomegranates, and golden bells, alternately. So, and this was on the hem, the lower side of the hem.
Yes.
Right? A pomegranate and a bell.
Yeah.
A pomegranate and a bell. A pomegranate and a bell. A golden bell.
And this robe was supposed to be blue.
This robe was supposed to be blue.
It has a specific color.
It was very specific. These were specifics that were given by God Himself.
Verse number 35. And it shall be upon Aaron when he ministers, and its sounds will be heard when he goes into the holy place before the Lord, and when he comes out, that he may not die.
That he may not die. Allow me to explain something here. Now, we are being told the reason for the bells. So that when Aaron, because remember when in our last topic, we saw that Aaron was the only one who was supposed to go to the inner, Holy of Holies.
Yes.
And when he went in there, he would only go there alone.
Yes.
And once a year, and not without blood. He would go there with blood. And when he's doing his priestly, duties there, the bells would make noise.
Yes.
So that the people who were out, the other Levites who were in the sanctuary, would continue hearing whether Aaron is still performing his priestly duties, so that they know whether he's alive. That was the reason for the bells.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Verse number 36.
Verse number 36.
You shall also make a plate of pure gold and engrave on it like the engraving of a signet. Verse number 37. And you shall put it on a blue cord, that it may be on the turban. It shall be on the front of the turban. So it shall be on Aaron's forehead, and that Aaron may bear the iniquity of the holy things which the children of Israel harrow in their holy gifts, and it shall also be on the forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord.
Just hold it there. Again, we are now being described the turban and how it was supposed to be. They were supposed to adorn a turban, right? Now, I want us to jump to verse number 40.
Verse number 40. For Aaron's sons, you shall make tunics, and you shall make sashes for them.
You shall make tunics. The tunic, so the effort was only for the high priest.
High priest, yes.
Okay, for Aaron. But now, these other ones were to adorn.
With tunics.
With a tunic.
And sashes.
And a sash. A sash is like a band that is worn on the waist.
So the high priest had an ephod. The robe and the breastplate.
Yes.
But the sons, they're the one who are to be adorned with tunics and sashes.
Yes.
All right. Verse number 40. Let me read that again. For Aaron's sons, you shall make tunics, and you shall make sashes for them, and you shall make hats for them for glory and beauty.
So, for the sons, they were supposed to wear a hat. A hat.
I can see it.
If you look at some of these religious, activities going on within the country, you see some people adorning that cap. Basically, what they are trying to tell us is that they are adorned in the way the sons of Aaron were adorned. Yes.
So you shall put them on Aaron's brother and on his sons with him. You shall anoint them, consecrate them, and sanctify them, that they may minister to me as priests.
The reason was that they may minister to the Lord as priests. Which priesthood are we talking about? We are talking about the Aaronic priesthood,
yes,
or what we can also call the Levitical priesthood.
Verse 42, and you shall make for them linen trousers to
the
cover.
sons,
Yes.
the sons.
And you shall make for them linen trousers to cover their nakedness, and they shall reach from the waist to the thighs.
The waist to the thigh. It's like a skirt. The waist to the thigh. Yes.
They shall be on Aaron and on his sons when they come into the tabernacle of meeting.
They shall be on Aaron and his sons when they come to the tabernacle of meeting.
Or when they come near the altar to minister in the holy place, that they do not incur iniquity and die. It shall be a statute forever to him and his descendants after him.
Basically, we have been told the garments that Aaron and his sons were supposed to adorn. So, when you see a priest today, in the church system, and you see them adorning these, long robes. Basically, what they are telling us is in which priesthood they are actually in.
Yes.
And they are also telling you who is seated down there, what they are ministering to you, because they cannot minister anything else other than the law. They are ministering to you the law.
That is
and which law are we talking about? They are ministering to you the law of Moses. Because that priesthood was the one that was ministering the law of Moses. Hello?
Yes.
Remember, we have looked at two things. I want you to repeat here for avoidance of doubt. In our last video, we looked at the tithe, and we saw that the tithe was the wage that the priest, these Aaronic priests, were given for the service that they were giving in the tabernacle. Today we have looked at the garments that they were supposed to wear, right? And it's very clear the garments are actually prescribed. So I'm just opening your eyes to see what is happening out there. Just open your eyes, so that the moment you go into any church system and at the front there you see a box written tithe, and you see the priest coming in, with those long robes. You should know in what priesthood they are actually telling you. You who is seated there, they are representing. I want us to go to Hebrews chapter number 7. Hebrews chapter number 7.
Hebrews
chapter number 7. Hebrews chapter number 7. I want us to look at verse number 11 and verse number 12. Remember, in our episodes, I have always been coming there.
Yes.
Because there is something that I want you to see. I want you to see something. When we look at what the Aaronic priesthood is doing, or how they are being told to do, and we come here, then there is a conclusion you must come out with.
Yes.
Please read the verse number 11.
Our viewers, we are in Hebrews chapter number 7, verse number 11. Therefore, if perfection were through the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should rise according to the order of Melchizedek and not be according to the order of Aaron?
Look at that. A very clear question. I mean, the writer of Hebrews is posing a question.
Yes.
If perfection was through this priesthood that we saw was the one that was collecting tithe, this priesthood that we have seen was actually the one that had specific gowns that they were adorned in. If that priesthood was perfect, what further need was there that another priesthood should arise according to the order of Melchizedek and not according to the order of Aaron? What does that tell us? That the priesthood changed.
Yes.
Because this one that we have been looking at, the one that was collecting tithes, the one that had specific robes, was not perfect.
Yes.
That's what the writer of Hebrews is talking about.
True, yes.
Please reread that verse number 11.
Verse number 11. Therefore, if perfection were through the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law.
It is under that priesthood, the Levitical priesthood, that the people received the law.
Yes. What further need was there that another priest should rise according to the order of Melchizedek and not be according to the order of Aaron?
Look at that. It's very clear that priesthood,
Yes.
the priesthood with gowns, the priesthood collecting tithes, it was not perfect.
Yes.
And that is what necessitated the coming up of another priesthood in the order of Melchizedek.
Verse number 12. For the priesthood being changed, of necessity there is also a change of the law.
For the priesthood being changed. What does that tell us? That priesthood changed.
Yes.
Which priesthood are we talking about? We are talking about the Levitical priesthood or the Aaronic priesthood. For the priesthood being changed, then there is of necessity the change of the law. Now, what law were the Levites ministering under? They were ministering under the law of Moses. Meaning that when that priesthood changed, the law also changed.
That is true.
The law also changed. And this is what the writer of Hebrews is telling us here.
Yes.
For the priesthood being changed, there is of necessity the change of the law.
Yes.
So the law changed. So anyone telling you about the law of Moses, they are telling you about a law that is already past, is already obsolete, is already done away with.
Yes.
Because we are in another priesthood. Verse number 13.
Verse number 13. For he of whom these things are spoken belongs to another tribe, from which no man has officiated at the altar.
Look at that. For he of whom these things are spoken of. Because now we are talking about Christ. Because it is Christ that we are talking about these things of the Melchizedek priesthood. For him of whom these things are spoken comes from Judah. Remember that Moses has not spoken anything about priesthood from Judah.
Yes.
So Jesus would actually not fit to be a priest under this Aaronic priesthood because he did not come from the tribe of Levi.
Yes.
Because priesthood, according to Moses, was supposed only to come from the children of Levi, from the Levites.
Yes.
But Jesus is not coming from Levi. He's coming from Judah. Why? Because there was a change of the law.
Yes.
If there is a change of the law, then it means now this other law is not specific to whom should, priesthood should come from, right? But the first law, or the law of Moses, was very specific, that priesthood would only come from Levites.
Yes.
So when now we are being introduced to this other priesthood, that remember we are told that for the priesthood being changed, there is of necessity the change of the law. So the law, we cannot continue with the same law that governed the Levitical priesthood in another dispensation.
Yes.
Brethren, it is very important we understand that there was no perfection in the law, in the Levitical priesthood.
Yes.
Right? And that is why that necessitated for the change of priesthood. And when priesthood changes, there is of necessity the change of the law. Those two changed. The law changed, the priesthood changed. We are no longer under the first priesthood. We are no longer under the Levitical priesthood. The priesthood that collected tithe, we are not under that. We are not under the priesthood that adorns specific gowns. We are not under that.
Yes.
But we shall still be continuing to be able to see more of this. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have learned. I want to just challenge us. Let's just go back and read the entire of Exodus chapter number 28. Right? Yes. You'll be able to understand the garments that we have been talking about. And from there, please go to Hebrews chapter number 7. And you'll be able to understand that the priesthood changed.
Wow. That is very interesting. We have learned. I know our viewers, you have also learned. Have you ever seen such people dressing in such garments? Now I can see them. I didn't know it was in the Bible, but today I have read and I have understood that those who wore those garments, they came from the tribe of Levites. They were the priests that were giving the services in the tabernacle, and that dress code was specifically for them, Aaron and his sons as priests. And now for us, we're in the new covenant. We don't belong to that priesthood, because we have another priesthood that came with Christ. That one, you don't have to dress in a specific way in order for you to give service to our God. Thank you for tuning in. Continue to like, subscribe, and share this video so that whenever we are on air, then YouTube will notify you. Karibuni sana, and for now we say bye-bye.